That's how it appeared, at least.
That's how it appeared.
So I want to get more into your personal story because I think sometimes people look at you and they see this tough guy and they see this facade, and yet inside you're hurting in a lot of ways.
Right.
And I think when you tell your story to so many others, not only in the book, but also when you do your speaking engagements and you lecture, you share with people what it was like to be tortured all that time and then ultimately tortured yourself. Right. I want to talk about the marks on your arms. If we could just turn your arms over a little bit and just show people some of these war scars that didn't happen on the street, but you actually created of your own. Right. What is this? Where did this come from?
This right here is branded in my skin. It's with hot metal. It's when you
And you did this to yourself?
No, this is done by another gang member, but it's all a part of gang initiation. Okay. Right. So it says West Side Rider, and it's on the left side of my arm, symbolizing what part of particular chapter or gang or section that I'm from. Also, me getting brands. Also, these are quarter brands.
Mm-hmm. And what do they represent?
Also, the same kind of blood, the particular bloods that I'm in, and also cigar marks on the arm. They're all symbolizing the same thing. They're all in a straight line, symbolizing the particular chapter that I'm in.
So in order at the time for you to be a part of this gang initiation, you had to allow somebody to physically do this type of work on your arms.
Right, all tattoos. It was no such thing as denial. Like, some people want to, be bad and tough and gangster and these so-called thugs and do things to people in the street. And when they get approached by police officers or by rival gang members or enemies, they're saying, oh, I'm not a part of it. I'm not from there, or I just lived there. I wasn't a part of that kind of stuff. See, there's no honor in that. It's being a gang member to us back then, it's all about honor. If I did something to you, it was for a reason. If I did something to your family member, it was for a reason. And I owned up to it because that's who I am. That's who I am. That's my last name that I wanted to wear. See, gangs is doing nothing but replacing whatever family or dysfunctional family that you do not want to be a part of anymore. So my last name is Davis. But I hated that household. I hated my mother for allowing it to happen to me. I hated my father for putting me through this stuff. I hated so many different aspects of it. I hated that I wore the last name Davis and I was going to school, and all of these adults that I passed, all of these firemen, police officers, teachers, principals, TAs that I done passed, how come no one noticed that I was hurting? How come no one noticed that I was going through all this turmoil?
Mm-hmm. All the people who were there that allegedly are supposed to help you
are not doing anything. But a gang member could spot it in 2 seconds.
So how old were you when they created these?
This is around, I think this is in like 2004. This right here was 1997, 96.
So were you in your teen years at that time?
Yeah, I was 16 years old when I first got branded.
And even though you knew this was coming, you said, I'm down for it no matter what.
Yeah, I'd rather die than be a victim.
Because what does that mean to you? If you're a victim, what does that mean to you as a man?
I might as well live the same way I live. I might as well be my mother. I always wanted to be her protector. All the time she was abused and beat up, and I always wanted to be her protector. So in no way, form or fashion can I be her protector if I'm being abused like her, and I'm never willing to fight back. And in order to fight back, you have to be willing to die. You have to be willing to go to jail. You have to be willing to lose everything.
And so you refuse to be more like your mother and more like your father instead?
Not even like my father. It's just you intake. It's intaking someone else's pain, being a sponge. Mm-hmm. So if I've never been raped a day in my life, but if I love you and you've been raped, I've been raped. In the same way I want revenge back, the same way that you want revenge back, we're going to get it. Yeah. That's what it's about.
I think some people also see being in a gang as being a part of the degradation of the community, mm-hmm. and the violence that happens in the community, but also abroad. And I want people to really understand, for you, it wasn't going into this wasn't about being into a violent community or being a part of a violent community, but it was much more for you. It was about connection, is what I'm understanding. You wanted to feel connected in a way you weren't feeling at home.
Right. It's about protection. It's about love. I remember it was one of my favorite little girls in this world. Her name was Nicole. We used to call her Nicole the Runaway because she was a foster kid, and her grandmother had took her in, but she hated her household just as much as I hated mine. She was one of the first people that told me how to play hooky, how to stay out all types of night. And I remember it used to be me and her at 11 years old. We used to she said call my house, make me sneak outside around like 11:30 at night while everyone was asleep, and we would go into like the nicest car we could find. We would both lay on the hood with our heads up into the sky and look up in the sky and daydream until we fall asleep. We did that so often, but that was my world.
That was your
She was my world. She was my everything, and no matter what she wanted to do, no matter how crazy it was, I was with it with her because every time I was hurt, she was there for me. Even though she was no doctor, she was no counselor and any of those things like that. Just being around her and her feeling and taking in all and absorbing all my pain, that was everything to me. And even back then at that age, I would have died for her or killed for her in a heartbeat.
I want to actually delve into this part of the discussion where we talk about self-pain and self-hurt, and tell the audience about some of your struggle with self-mutilating.
Mhm.
Because I think a lot of people out there, especially in communities of color, don't think or believe that we cut. We cut ourselves in pain. And you actually have a long history of self-mutilating and cutting yourself. Tell people how you got started cutting your body up.
The first time I actually started self-inflicting pain onto myself, I believe was around 8 or 9 years old. What happened was I was tired of like the abuse in the house. He would get so drunk, bring all kinds of different women in the house in front of my mother, not in front of my mother. Like, he was a womanizer. And these are the things that he was teaching me. Like, he taught me that gangsters wear guns. Gangsters don't tolerate back talk from anybody. When they find something that's displeasing to them, they address it on the spot. No matter what is the cause, they do what they want to do. So I kind of was infatuated with it and also despised it at the same time.
What's the it that you're referring to? The lifestyle that he led?
The lifestyle, the chaos. It's like an organized chaos, He can do something like that. He can open fire on somebody in broad daylight, not get caught, sleep with a different woman, and then come home and my mother is cooking dinner for us.
As if it never happened.
Like nothing never happened. So, you kind of like, it's confused kind of love, But I didn't took a lot of it, Some of it I disposed of, some of it I took in, and what it created was a monster. Like, monsters are not born; they're created.